In this video, we're going to focus on the styling of our line segment. We're going to really focus on these segments here and give a color, depending on if you're going up or down, but also we will give the line a dotted border line or dotted design pattern based on if it's going down as well. We're going to control this step by step. So let's start to explore how we can do this. In this video, we're going to focus on how to do line segment styling in Chart.js. So let's start to explore how to do this. The first thing that we're going to do here is to get in chartjs3.com getting started on this specific link. We're going to grab the default code. So we're going to grab this chunk of code here. So let's copy that. And if you want to understand what this code does, make sure you watch this video here. So what we're going to do here is just paste this in here. And once we did that, I'm going to cut out this, place it in here, and save that and refresh. Alright, so now we have a basic bar chart, but to do a line segment styling, it is only applicable to a line chart. So we're going to convert this into a line chart. So in here we have this line chart here, and then the border width will be removed. I will just comment this out, save this, and refresh. Alright, so now we have a nice thick border. But what I want to do as well is, of course, to make it elastic. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to say here, tension. And then we will indicate here 0.4. And by doing this, if we refresh here now, you can see our line has become more elastic and it's not just straight lines. Alright, so what we're going to do now is basically start to play around with our values that if we're going down here, it should become a different color, plus it should be dotted. And if the segment would go up, it will indicate a positive, so we make that green. So what we're going to do here, and this is very important, is to play around with a feature. And this feature is basically what we call the segment object. So to do this, what we need to do here is indicate here segment. And this segment here is an object, so that's why we indicate this object here. And then what I will do here is to hide the border color. So what we're going to do here is basically the following. What we want to do here is, if we're going down, it should change the color, and if we're going up, it should change the color. But secondly, if it goes down, we want to make the line dotted as well. So let's start to explore how to do this part now. So the first thing that we need to do is, of course, select the colors. So I'm going to use the red color here, and of course the green color here, which is the fourth item in our array. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pinpoint here the border color, and in the border color I want to indicate the following. I'm going to say here CTX, and then I'm going to give it here a constant. Let's give this constant the value of down, or basically later on I will refer to this. What I'm going to do is here I'm going to say here down, so every time it hits down it will up, or if it declines, the value declines, it will be applicable for us. So what we're going to say here is basically CTX, which is the parameters that we have, which is the CTX, and of course the color. So if we're declining, basically if our line declines, what is the color we want to show? In this case, the red color. So I'm going to grab this red color here, put it in there. And else, if it's not, what I want to do here is do the following. I want to get here the green color, which is this specific item. So I'm going to copy this, paste it in there, including the comma, that is fine. So once we have this, we can basically save this, and later on I'm going to work on the border or the dotted border that we still need to do. So we have this here. If we save this now and refresh, of course it gives an error. And the reason why it gives an error right now is that scroll down here, you can see here we had this constant of down. Of course we didn't reference it somewhere. So what we need to do here down next, type in constant, and this constant will be equal to down, and this down value is basically based on our parameters. It will grab the two parameters, which is the CTX, which is basically the chart, and we grab here the value, whatever the value will be. Well, in this case the value is this item here. These are the two arguments, and this is basically the parameters with that. So the value will be now the color. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put here a fat arrow function, or a arrow function expression, and for now semicolon there, and just show you what really happens and what these two are, just for now, because understanding that is crucial, because from there on we're going to dive deeper into another item. So first of all, I want to say a CTX. If I do this, refresh, it works now because the reference is correct. And then here we have the amount of items here. And just to make sure, let's make this bigger. All right. So what do we have here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objects, which is correct because here this is one object. Basically, it's one segment here. This is the first segment, starting from here to here. Second segment, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So we have 6 segments, but we have 7 data points here. So that's correct. So basically what we're going to measure is first point, or the beginning point, and the ending point of every segment. Is it higher or lower? That's basically what we need to do. So if I click here on this object, you will see here our starting point, which is the P0, which is very important. The P0 is basically the starting point here. To confirm that, you can see here parsed, and you look at the Y. X index 0, which is Monday, and then Y is value of 18. So that's correct. So that is the P0. So if we search here for the P1, you will see here nicely the parse would be index 1, which is x1 or Tuesday, and y value of 12. So as you can see here, it will understand based on P1 and P0, or this P0 is P0 larger or smaller than P1. If P0, which is number 18 here, is larger compared to P1, it would indicate a decline. And if it's the other way around, it would indicate an increase. So what we're going to do here now is basically that. I'm going to show you. So if I save this right now here for the value, just to show you this, you can see here, just get this value here, and this value, if you look down here, is this item here. All right, so that works. But we're not done, of course. Here, what I want to do is to grab the CTX, and then we have to go here to the P0. So let's save this and refresh. Let's see what we get. All right, now we get this, and then we have to go to the parse and parse Y. Say .y, and then what I want to do here, I want to copy this and say here not P0 but P1. So if I save this, it will loop through these, and you can see here every time it loops, and it will show you here, basically it looks like a double value, but it's not. P0, P1, and then here's P0, which is 12, that's this one here, and this will become P1. And then after that, of course, in the new segment, this is P0, P1. And so it loops through the entire, on every segment in Chartjs. So now what I want to do, of course, is here a comparison. So I'm going to, you can just comment this out. I'm going to delete this now, and that part here, and then here, we're going to create an if statement. A simple, straightforward if statement that will say if P0 is larger than P1, or basically this item here. So that would mean that if this would be larger than the ending value, it will indicate a decline. So once we have this, and then we say here, if that is true, we'll say here, value. If that is not true, what we could do here is to do an undefined, or we can just grab here this default value as well. Basically, we could have this one here as an extra, just in case. So once we have this, now we're done here. So let's save this. And I guess maybe we should not do this here, but that's alright. What I will do here is just put an undefined, I realized. And the reason why I am saying that is because we'll be using this code for something else as well, and having them both in here, but having a color in there would create an error if we're going to work with the dotted line. Alright, so now we have this part here, so this is done. So the next thing what I want to do here is to indicate a dotted line here. For that, all we need is a border dash. So the border dash is another command. We're going to borrow the same functionality, or the if statement that we have here, related to the down constant. So we're going to say here, if it's down or decline, down, if that is the case, what I want to do is the following. I want to grab CTX, and I want to grab here a what we call a dash pattern, meaning first one would indicate how many pixels is the line visible, and after that how many pixels will the line be not visible, so basically the white space. So let's say here 6, 6. If I save this now, refresh, you can see here now it is 6 by 6. So every 6 pixels it will eventually show 6 pixels of white space. So if I would do this, let's say 10, you will see now that there will be a bigger white space compared to the pixels of the solid. So if I do this on 2, you will see this very clearly. There you are. So now you can see here exactly how it works. You can see maybe this point radius, we could even remove them here. Doesn't matter so much in this case. I'll just we can just do it quickly here. Point radius equals 0. So comma, there we are. Now the point radius is gone, but of course it is not really very practical because to hover on the specific item will be probably very hard to find. But anyway, that's basically how you can play around with this. So if you like this video and maybe you want to go even more deeper or see some other options, I would highly recommend you to check out this one, how to assign colors in a line chart based on positive and negative values in Chartjs.